In this lesson, we will focus on urban sustainability, trying to explore the role that citizens can play and looking at the practices that many of them are experimenting with to achieve it. As we know, cities are today the places where the greatest environmental, social, and economic challenges are concentrated, but also the contexts in which innovative forms of participation and active citizenship are being experimented with. On the one hand, the gap between institutions and citizens is widening. 68% of Italians believe they cannot influence public decisions, while on the other hand, grassroots practices of collective care and urban activism are multiplying. Small groups of residents take action to solve specific problems, caring for public spaces, transforming rundown areas into meeting places, providing assistance to those in need, and exchanging resources. Just in Italy, according to a report by Lapsus, over 6,000 collaboration pacts for the care of common goods have been signed since 2014. This figure shows just how widespread civic engagement has become. But what is interesting about this approach to the city? These initiatives put people back at the center, focusing on their relationship with nearby spaces, their ability to recognize their own needs and those of others, and the multitude of possible interpretations, feelings, and perceptions. It is here that widespread knowledge, everyday skills, and both personal and collective stories come together. This situated knowledge is a valuable resource for those who work on cities, not only because it enriches urban projects with more deeply rooted and contextual content, but also because it allows for the creation of changes that are more easily adopted, recognizable, and therefore more effective and sustainable. From this broader perspective, what is added to the notion of sustainability? The concept of sustainability is enhanced by including aspects such as quality of life, that is, the availability of green spaces, the ability to move around safely, air quality, access to services, and social relationships. These are concrete issues that concern the body, health, time, the sense of beauty, and the need for sharing. It is an indirect reference to the bios, that is, to life, to the body. And it is especially in the shared nearby and public spaces, those we access daily with our own bodies, that a significant part of the ecological and social transition takes place, where one can be, do, share, imagine, create, and experiment together collaboratively. Talking about urban sustainability from the citizen's perspective also means questioning the principle of equity, understood not only as the redistribution of resources, but also as real access to decision-making processes and the recognition of a plurality of subjects and points of view. Who has the right to decide on urban transformations? How can we ensure that different voices, including the most vulnerable, young people, children, migrants, the elderly, and people with disabilities, are able to contribute to imagining futures to which we are all committed? It is necessary to develop a concept of urban sustainability that is not only ecological, but also inclusive and relational. It is necessary to move beyond the dichotomy between nature and culture and to recognize that every process of sustainability must be grounded in the realities of everyday relationships and local contexts. This is a challenge that makes it urgent to rethink sustainability as an issue capable of bringing together ecology, social equity, and the right to the city.
Globally, while representative democracy is weakening in many areas, the number of cities promoting forms of participatory democracy on issues such as the environment, public space, and common goods is increasing. In recent years, various tools have been tested to involve citizens in the management and transformation of the city. Among these are participatory budgeting, collaboration pacts for common goods, tactical urbanism, and social streets, which are light and temporary interventions that enable the rapid transformation of public space. Despite their inclusive potential, participatory tools show limitations mainly due to their limited sphere of impact. Alongside these institutionalized forms, however, there are also various spontaneous, temporary, and informal experiences, neighborhood groups, collectives, and cultural associations. These are realities that represent a wealth of vitality and civic innovation, significant yet often on the margins of strategic visions and public policies. In this sense, two emerging directions have begun to take shape. The first operates through practices of direct experimentation in public space, which focus on decision-making through action, collective initiatives, and concrete transformations of places that are able to foster relationships and imagine alternative uses for urban spaces. Aimed at reducing the influence of power dynamics tied to decision-makers, instead emphasizing the exchange between different forms of knowledge and the construction of more transparent and well-reasoned collective decisions. From this perspective, some digital platforms are experimenting with forms of deliberation that go beyond the polarizing logic of social networks. Experiences such as Decidim, which originated in Barcelona and is used in France and other European cities, or Consul, which is adopted in Spain, as well as more recent research experiments like Because, Democratic Reflection, and others, have supported the participatory definition of urban priorities, mobility plans, and regulations, for example, for public spaces. At the heart of many of these initiatives is the idea that grassroots experiments can trigger broader trajectories of transformation. Starting from a small scale, the sidewalk outside one's home, the school garden, or neighborhood relationships means building micro-transformations that, if consolidated and networked, can change the city's socio-technical and spatial model. This is the concept of socio-technical system transition, as theorized by authors like Frank Giles, that invite us to view cities as complex systems in which daily practices, infrastructures, social norms, and public policies interact and evolve. For change to be effective, it is necessary to recognize and value bottom-up innovation trajectories, encouraging their integration into institutional strategies. Cities can therefore become true laboratories of sustainability, where local experiments feed into a systemic and shared vision. In this scenario, urban design is no longer merely a technical act, but a tool for the co-production of knowledge, capable of adapting, experimenting, and redefining visions. The transformation at the heart of the project thus becomes a process, with collective learning at its core, which is the foundation of sustainability. Experimenting with increasingly effective ways of building spheres of action that are both transformative and inclusive is essential, not only to make decisions more representative, but also because participation generates empowerment, skills, and reduces the gap between institutions and citizens. It is through a daily and concrete understanding of sustainability that we can imagine and implement urban transformations capable of addressing the environmental and social challenges of our time.